Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be making this boat wheel tray. It's come from Temu. And with that I'm also going to make this lighthouse jar, which also came from Temu. And also the smaller boat out of the two boats on this mould, which actually came with this. And that also had a little jar with it as well, which had a rope design around the edge, but instead of using that I'm going to be using the lighthouse one instead. So I'm going to be making these out of Eco Resin today, and I'm using one that I got from Temu, which is a 4:1 ratio. I'm going to go and mix it up, but I'm only going to do enough for one at a time because it's very hot here today. And I'm a little bit worried that if I make up too much, it's going to start setting before I pour it. So I'll mix up one at a time and I'll come back when that one's ready to be poured. Right, that's all mixed up now. So I'm just going to pour that in. This video is actually part of the Friendship Express Trains themed monthly collaboration. It's arranged by Sally at All Aboard Resin Creations, Susie at Serendipity Creations, and Tina at Pour Resin with Love. And I'd just like to thank those ladies for all the hard work they do in organising that for us. Every month they do a different theme. This month is beach, or anything beachy. And in my description box there will be a playlist of all the different videos that are taking part in this collaboration this month. So please do have a look at that, click on it, grab yourself a cup of tea, maybe a glass of wine, and have a binge watch of some of the fabulous videos that are on there. Right, that's just about done that. That's just about a perfect amount really. It is setting quite quickly. Just pour the last bit on there, it's getting a bit thicker now. I deliberately made it a bit runnier actually, so that it did last a bit longer, but it is very, very hot today. Having a bit of a heat wave here in the UK, and we're just not geared up for it. We don't have air conditioning, we just have windows and fans. Well, some people have air conditioning, I suppose, but I don't. So I'll just give that a tap. Apologies if that's making the camera wiggle. That's it, and we'll move that to one side, and I'll mix up the next lot, and this time I'm going to do the lighthouse. Okay, I've got the next lot mixed up now, so we're just going to pour that in to the lighthouse. So it is setting up so quickly. Pour it in as quickly as I can, and this one has got a little thing at the top, a little point at the top. I want to make sure that that's got no bubbles in. Pour that in as quick as we can. We've also got a rim on there. The wheel is already almost set up, I think. There we are. I'll just fill that up a little bit. See? That I think is just about going to do that. So again, we'll push that to one side, and then we'll be back to fill up the boat. Right, the last one is just to pour the boat now. We just pour that in here. Mix it up a little bit. It seems to settle very quickly, so let me just stir that back up again. Pour that in there. That's it. Give that a bit of a wiggle. And then I'll leave this for, it says between half an hour and an hour to allow for enough to be able to demould it. So I'll leave it now for an hour, and then we'll pop back and see how they've come out. So see you soon. These are all set up now, so we'll demold them and see how they've come out. Quite easy to demold, so that's good. There's the tray. That's nice. I'm pleased with that. No bubbles or anything, so that's really lovely. And now for the lighthouse. To try and get that going, I think first. That's it. Once it's turned over and you can get that to pull up, it's not so bad. Give that a twist. Just put that back the other way. So that's that one. The little bubbles just along the edge there. But I don't think that'll matter too much. And just sort of file them down a little bit so they're not quite so rough. A few little bubbles here. But that's okay. Could have been better with the bubbles, but I think that it didn't help that it was thickening up as quickly as it was, and I didn't have a lot of time to play around with it. But yep, I'm pleased with that. Let's have a look at the lid. Now this has got the little bit at the top, so I'm hoping that that's come out all right, and the rim is okay. Don't know how's best to get this off. I'm scared to pull it in case it all comes off. I'm probably going to have to do this up against my tummy, so bear with me. Right, got it. There we go. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. No bubbles on there, so that's good. There's this bubble there, slight bubble there, but not to worry. That fits on there nicely. So that looks nice. And then there's just the boat. And that's come out really nicely. That's good. Don't think we've got any bubbles in that one, so that's good. So that will go on there, and that will go on there. What we're going to do first of all is let them dry off completely. So I'm going to put them on a rack and let them dry for about 24 hours, and then we can start to decorate them. So I'll see you later. These have dried now, and I've actually given them one coat of the gloss sealer. The sealer I've used today is from J. Diction, the gloss one, sorry. So I've given them one coat because I want to highlight some of them with a gilding pen, a chrome pen, and somebody suggested to me, I've never done it before, so I've gone with their suggestion that if you put a top coat on, a thin coat of gloss, it's easier to apply the pen and then gloss again over the top to seal it in. So we'll give it a go. These pens I got from Amazon and they arrived today, and there's 4 pens in there at the moment. Well, sorry, there is 4 pens in there. You've got a big chunky 10mm jumbo tip for filling in big areas. You've got a 5mm and 3mm chisel tip pen. This one is chisel tip as well. And then you get 2 of these. One of them I'm going to be using, which is 5mm and 1mm bullet tips. So let's see what they're like. So I'm going to start off with doing the highlights on the ship. And I thought I'd just do the inside of the star here. Where it's a nice thin tip, it goes into the edges of the star really nicely, so that's good. Just fill that in. That's it, that looks good. And I'm also going to do the lifeboat belt there, and probably the flag and some of the sail. And I will do some highlights on here. But you're not going to want to watch all that because that's going to take me absolutely ages. So I will come back to you when I've finished them all and show you what I've done. I've got all the highlights done now. So as you can see, I've just highlighted in gold and some cream around the shells around the side. I've done that to the jar and to the lid. So that fits on like that. Well, it will do, should do. That's it. And then there's the boat. I actually done these a couple of days ago because I've also finished glazing them now. So I put glaze on top, and what I did with the jar is I put 3 layers of glaze in here because we're actually going to put candle wax in there and make that into a candle. I don't have a huge supply of candle stuff, and I know I didn't have a fragrance with sort of like a beach theme, which is what I really wanted. So I went online to one of these secondhand selling sites that we have, and I bought this candle, which is called Beach Days scented candle. I have had a sniff. To be honest, I can't really smell anything. Maybe it comes out when you light the candle. I don't know. But anyway, what I'm going to do is actually cheat, and I'm going to cut off a bit of the candle and melt it down so that we can use it into the pot here. So I'll go and get that done, and then I'll come back when we're ready to pour. Right, I've stuck the wick in place just using a glue dot, and I'm just going to use the stick here to hold it in place in the centre. And the wax is all melted now, so we'll get that ready to pour. I'll just pour that in slowly. That's it. The wax will shrink a little bit as it cools, but we don't want it too far to the top anyway, because obviously the lid needs to go on. So that's done now. All we need to do now is wait for that to cool and set, and while we're doing that we can move on to the tray. I haven't done anything with the tray yet. I haven't glazed it or anything at all yet because I want to put on a UV DTF sticker, and if you glaze it first and then put the sticker on, when you pull the top layer off, it can very often take a bit of the glaze with it. So the transfers I've got are these ones here that I want to put on here. These were actually made for me. They were custom made for me by Amanda Towgood. She's part of the Resin Suppliers Den group on Facebook. It's a UK group based over here, and it's full of approved sellers that sell absolutely everything that you could possibly need to do with your resin. What you need to do is just go onto the group, join it, and then if you go up to the albums, there are hundreds, literally hundreds of things for you to be able to buy, and they're all lovely people and so helpful. Amanda in particular is really, really good at what she does. I've sent several things to her at different times to have them made up into the UV DTFs for me. She does them so quickly, so professionally, and they're always brilliant quality. She has got a lot of her own pre-designed ones for you to just buy off the shelf, and that's fine. Or if you wanted to send her something like this, like lettering or picture or something like that, she is more than happy to help you to try and get that put onto a UV DTF of your choice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one out here. So I think I'll have this one here today. So I'll just cut round it. We just need to take the backing off, which may be easier said than done. There we go. And I think I'm going to place that one just here, just on the tray there. So make sure it's nice and straight. And I have got one of these here that I could just use to try and make sure we've got no bubbles. Make sure it's all evenly pressed down. And then we just get hold of the top coat, just get that started. So I mean, they're quite sticky, so that's why if you glaze it, it can often take the glaze with it. So we're going to carefully peel this back now. If you see that any parts of it haven't stuck down properly, you can just lay it back down and rub over it again. But Mandas are super sticky, they're really good. There we go. As usual, that's done perfectly. So that's that part. So what I'm going to do now is glaze it now. So I'll give it a couple of coats of glaze and then we'll carry on with it. This is all finished being glazed and it's all dried. I apologise for the lighting here and the shadows. I've had to film this now in my kitchen because I've got other projects on the go and all drying and curing and everything up in my craft room, so I can't get in there at the moment. So I do apologise for all the shadows and the lighting. But I'm going to use some gold cord to wrap around the edges here just to finish off the tray. Now you can use string, garden jute, ribbon, whatever you like, but I just thought with the gold writing and the gold trim on the lighthouse and everything that it would be quite nice to have it in gold. So to start it off, I'll show you what I'm going to do, and hopefully this works because I've not done this before. I'm going to glue the ends a little bit at the end here just to try and get that secured in place. Put a little bit of glue there. And I'm going to spray the end and just pop that in place there. I'll hold that down, let that stick there. And then we just start to wrap it through. I'm going to just trap that one underneath there, and I think I might just put some glue at the top as well, just some E6000 just to hold it all in place as we go along. So I'll just make sure we've got that nice and straight. I had to decant my E6000 because it had got all dry in the end of the tube, so it wasn't coming out, so I had to decant it, cut the tube and decant it. So we'll do that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop you on fast forward because you won't want to watch me doing this in real time, and I'll show you it all at the end of it. Right, now we've come to that end bit there. I'm just going to cut the twine where I need it, roughly. Pop a bit more of the glue down here. Spray that end. Ideally, I would have liked to have tucked it in underneath the remainder, but I haven't got a needle that was big enough that would take that cord. There we are, so that's the first one done. So I'll go ahead and do the rest of them. You won't want to see me doing all that, so I'll do the rest of them off camera, and then we'll show you the end results when it's all done. So there we are, that's all finished now. So we've got the tray, we have the little boat, and we have the candle in the lighthouse. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do come back and watch my next one. No idea what it'll be, but we will see. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.